What is one book that every business owner should read and why? I'm going to go with two of them. I think one of them is
Coffee Conversations with Bellamia.
it's kind of scary. Not sure I want to know. Okay, Waterway Wealth emphasizes relationships. How has building strong connections contributed to your success? And any tips for fostering meaningful relationships in finance? I started with a company that sold products, and I found out really quick that I didn't like selling products, that I liked helping people. And so when I left that big company, I decided I was not going to be taking commissions anymore, so we changed. And what I realized is that if I get to know people, then I can help them really well. And so that's really what Waterway kind of turns the financial services industry upside down, and we start with getting to know people and connecting. And I always say that if you do what's right, the rest will take care of itself. And that was a tough one right out of the gate. All right. In the dynamic finance industry, how do you stay updated on trends and ensure your strategies remain effective for clients at Waterway? So I think we believe in what we call a growth mindset. So we always are looking at new ways to do things, especially on the portfolio side. So credentials are big to us. Things like the CFP, the CFA. Jack's actually gone back while he's been with us and got a master's, and now he's working on his PhD. So I think education is a huge part of that. I think we always have to evolve. And even though I've been in the industry for 30 years now, which is a long time, I feel like I still don't know everything. I still have a lot to learn. So I think just a growth mindset is super important in our industry. If you could, what financial advice would you give 20-year-old Dan? I would just say invest earlier. The compounding when you start in your 20s versus your 30s and your 40s. I remember my 20s was about paying off student loans, paying off a car. So there wasn't a whole lot of savings till I was in my, I'd say, mid to late 20s. But if you could just start saving at a young age, it's incredible what compounding can do. So save, save, save. What is one book that every business owner should read and why? I'm going to go with two of them. I think one of them is Simon Sinek, and I think it's Start With Why. And then second one is Jim Collins' Good to Great, which is really, I would say it's misquoted a lot, but it's basically finding the right team members, and he uses the analogy of a bus, and getting the right people on the bus. And also an extension of that is finding the right seat for everybody on the bus, so people are in the right roles in the right seat on the bus. So I think those two are powerful. So Simon Sinek and Jim Collins, probably the two favorite books for business owners. Oh, that's funny. How has being known as the bow tie guy shaped your professional journey, and what advice do you have for others looking to create a unique and personal brand? Oh, that's funny. My son started wearing a bow tie out of college. He went to work for Sewell, and I was always jealous because I couldn't tie a bow tie. And so eventually one day he said, "Dad, you ought to try this." And so he taught me how to do it, and I have not worn a regular tie since. And that's been 6 years ago. And it really wasn't any intentional thing. I would just say it was just me being myself. And so I think creating a brand is really just about being you and having fun with life. I would say a compliment to that was a guy gave me a pair of what they call happy socks. And so ever since that, I started buying these crazy wild socks and having a little fun with it. So say be yourself. That's authentic, genuine. I think that's the only way to build a brand. Can you share a key lesson or success story from your experience working with small teams at Waterway? Say the most proud I am of success stories are actually clients, in that we've helped people with some of the most sacred conversations and decisions. We've helped people sell businesses, which when business owners sell something, it's like their baby because they've got so much sweat equity into it. So I'm going to say what makes me the most proud in working with a small team is that we get in and we help people with things that are not the typical financial service model. It's not just investments and taxes, but we help people buy houses, finance cars, boats, planes, RVs, you name it. We help people get things done. And when it comes to a small business owner, I think we can relate to some of the sweat equity that goes into that, and how it's a very emotional transition for someone who's started something from scratch to sell it 40 years later. So that's probably where I'm, I guess, most proud of, is helping people through not just the financial side of the transaction and the legal and all those issues. It's really more the emotional transition of how they're going to switch off from being business owner, to potentially someone who's doing something else, and that's not a huge part of their life. So that's been the most rewarding, is to watch clients go through that process.
Coffee conversations with Bellamy.